If you guys enjoy our NFL mailbags, which we're about to get into here on today's show, then like the video if you haven't already done so. We appreciate your support here at NFL Daily, and likes are a simple, free, easy way to help us out. Plus, if you like videos, we take that to mean you want more of those styles. First up is a super chat from Mark. How did Mel become so popular? He's like the Joe Theismann of draft guys. You and your team blow him. Poll. How many think Tom makes a better GM and draft guy? You can type T for me or M for Mel Kiper. I guess go ahead and vote in the comments section. Another super chat from Chris B says, Jerry's going all in, Tom. LMAO sure. $5 million guaranteed. I will say, this is we film these on our Tuesday live shows, so keep that in mind. Jerry says at the Senior Bowl saying, he said we're gonna go all in this season. Of note, the Cowboys have given out one contract with more than $4 million guaranteed at signing, with an asterisk for Gerald McCoy, who got 9 but only got paid 3 because of his injury, since they signed Brandon Carr over a decade ago. Was Cedric Thornton, who got $9 million. They literally haven't given out $10 million in guaranteed money in free agency. So what is going all in by Jerry's standards? Doing a 1-year, fully guaranteed $8 million deal for Derrick Henry. That'd be all in by his standards. It's a low bar. Got a hashtag NFL question. That's how you get on the mailbags, by the way, folks. From Bowls Nation. Should Carolina sign AJ Epenesa? You can. I don't think Epenesa is going to fix... I think this Panthers team pretty clearly needs a second edge rusher opposite Brian Burns. You need somebody who offers something else that can get after the quarterback. Epenesa is not a bad football player. And he had 6.5 sacks this past season. I would also like to point out that he had 2 against Jacksonville, and down the stretch this year, had none in the back half of November, December, and January. So you can add him. That's fine. Sure. But if you go, we found our number 2 edge opposite Brian Burns, I think you're going to end up being kind of disappointed. From Jordan, should the Higgins trade the Titans for a second? Definitely not going to get a first, to be clear. I don't think this happens. I think the most likely path here for the Bengals is tag T. Higgins, don't trade him, maybe pay him. This is an organization that doesn't really, it's kind of what they did with Jesse Bates, right? It's team that doesn't really like to do trades. They don't do tag and trades ever. It's not their typical MO. It's a decent destination, Hopkins and Higgins and maybe Burks. It's appealing to a certain extent. I would not get my hopes up for that, however. So will the Bengals trade Higgins? I know a lot of NFL teams out there would certainly have some interest there. What do you think ends up happening? Y for yes and for no at the pinned comment of today's video, especially the ad comes here on YouTube. From Panner Chucker, where will Josh Jacobs end up this offseason? It's a great question. I don't know where he ends up. The musical chairs for running backs this offseason is going to be so interesting. Because you've got Jacobs and Henry and Pollard and Saquon and DeAndre Swift and Gus Edwards and Devin Singletary had almost 1,000 yards this year. There's actually a lot of James Conner, Eckler. There's a lot of really good backs out there, which then makes it interesting for, okay, who goes where and how much do they get? I'll always lean towards the Raiders bring him back. But if a team throws money at him, Jacobs should take it. For a lot of these guys, this is their chance at a big contract. It just might not be the type of contract they wanted. He's probably going to ask for Jonathan Taylor money. I don't know if he gets it. From Chris P. Thoughts on Cap Boys comments? Kind of remind them. Background here. Cap Boy is what us Cowboys people call Stephen Jones because he loves his salary cap limits. Basically said that the Cowboys have to earn back the trust of the fan base. When they end the year the way that they did, it's understandable and they should feel that way. I still some people, attacking Stephen Jones because they're just mad at him, and I get that too. He's right. Nothing Stephen Jones said was a lie. He is right. And until the Cowboys, have success the way it matters, the fan base will always have doubts. So I thought Stephen Jones was correct. Does he do anything to actually fix it? That's the real issue. Now, today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. You're just picking 2 to 6 player stat projections, more than, less than, on those stat projections, and potentially watch your money come rolling in. And if you're smart, you just got to beat the numbers. That's it. Any sport, brother, you can mix and match NFL and NBA for a very brief amount of time with the Super Bowl almost here. Again, it's more than or less than. Here's, I think, one of my fun Super Bowl Prize Picks slates. I got the freebie from Prize Picks. Half a passing yard for Patrick Mahomes. More than. Then I took my 2 favorite ones beyond that. Christian McCaffrey, more than 8.5 yards on the ground. Chiefs' run defense is not that great. Ravens made a mistake not putting the ball on the ground more. Travis Kelce, more than 7 catches since Laporta had a pretty good day against the 49ers last time. You can go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. That link, folks, is going to be in the comments section and the description of today's show. From Mark, JJ believes all is well as he is trying to keep everyone. My only hope is JJ actually fills a few holes with good free agents. I draft best available. This is the way. This is how all teams should operate. Not all of them do, whether because they couldn't get the free agent they wanted, they chose to get the free agent that they wanted or should have wanted, or they just misevaluate. It happens. But specifically for the Cowboys, there's 3 avenues to build talent, right? Draft, free agency, trades. Their biggest free agent signing last year was like $500,000 guaranteed to a backup offensive lineman. That's not talent acquisition as a 365 day. It's not. From Lore, how will the Niners stop the running game in the Super Bowl? You know, they had some success in terms of the results in the second half of that game against the Lions. I think your edges, Chase Young in particular, you got to keep contained. You know, the Lions had some great success on that front, and their duo runs were awesome. Different style than what the Chiefs do to a certain extent as well. And your front 4, they can't get blown off the ball that far. I mean, there were so many 5-6 yards gains by David Montgomery before he even got contacted. So the point of attack has to be better. And I think that's more of an execution thing than it was a schematic thing. Underground Radio. Giants should move up or down in the draft. Ooh, it's a good question. If you are convinced you have to get one of those big 3 quarterbacks, try to move up. Otherwise, I'd probably just stay where I am. Let's say the quarterbacks are gone. There's a real chance you can get Malik Neighbors, or maybe you love Rome Odunze. One of those guys will be there for you, or a great offensive lineman. Now, maybe things kind of fall apart for you, but I do think going that route and staying where you're at, if the board falls the way I think it will, ends up making the most sense. Beyond that, if it's a nightmare where it's the 3 quarterbacks and the 2 receivers and you don't want Rome Odunze, then trade down a few spots if you can and take a tackle or Odunze instead. From Tony, will a team trade up to snag one of the top quarterbacks? I guess kind of ties into the whole Giants conversation there as well. The tricky bit here is you can make very real arguments that the Commanders, Bears, and Patriots, obviously not in that order, have just massive needs for a QB. And if they're not taking whoever the third one is, maybe that's not the route you want to end up going, and maybe a team doesn't trade up there. In theory, you'd be looking to jump maybe the Giants or the Falcons. So does a team like Denver get antsy? Possible. I could see if Daniels, falls out of the top 5, maybe a team jumps up then. But if they go 1, 2, 3, then you shouldn't be trading up as far as I'm concerned. Which 1, 2, 3 is pretty damn rare. Not very common. So how many quarterbacks do go in the top 3 picks? 0. No. But 1, 2, or 3. Go vote in the comments section. From Cobra Kai World, where will Mac Jones end up? Patriots give him another chance. Marvin Harrison, or they trade him elsewhere? I think if Mac Jones is back, which isn't out of the realm of possibilities, there's somebody else in that building too. Like it can't just be Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi. And this time it's different because Bill's gone. That's just not going to work. Mac was kind of broken last year, if we're being honest. So whether it's a veteran or a day 2 pick or whatever, if you do take Marvin Harrison Jr., there has to be other quarterback competition in that building, or else it's going to be a disaster, and you're going to be wasting a year of Marvin Harrison and other young core pieces on your team, and then you're picking top 3 potentially again at this time next year. We have free NFL YouTube videos for you guys every single day, so do not miss out. Hit that sub button right now. From Cleveland CBI, how bad did Lamar's stock take this postseason? Leads in 75 of 77 regular season, 2 of 6 playoff games. Crazy stat. I don't know how much it does. I think from a narrative perspective, it's a massive blow. He did not play well in that game. I thought the game plan was terrible from Todd Monken. By the way, why aren't you running the ball? The Chiefs' run defense was gettable all game long. We knew that going in. They didn't do it. It sucks for Lamar. I think in general, trying to make the narrative all or nothing of if you don't win a title, you suck. I'm not saying this is the case here for you, but I've seen it out there. You're going to have a lot of bad quarterbacks then. And then Josh Allen's not good enough. And Lamar Jackson's not good enough. Then Joe Burrow's not good enough. Then who is good enough? It's Patrick Mahomes. Frankly, if we're the quarterback comparison can't be Mahomes and Brady for everybody. Those guys should frankly be taken out of the conversation. From Martin, is a Joey Bosa trade more possible? Yes, it is actually. The Chargers are kind of revamping things a little bit. They say $14 million for the cut or a trade. That's a lot. Good player. Very good player. It's a lot. New team would owe like $22 million though. Might be an issue. So name a player who you think ends up getting traded. Sound off for me in the comment section right now. Bulls Nation, should Minnesota trade a first-round pick to New York for Daniel Jones and Evan Neal if Kirk Cousins doesn't re-sign with Minnesota? No, they should not. Daniel Jones is a negative asset right now. I don't think, and Evan Neal has not been very good so far. Plus, the Vikings don't really need a tackle. So no, I would not trade that pick at all. I think the Giants say yes, let's do it. The Vikings should not ever consider that, frankly. Cali Lama, I think Josh Daniels will ultimately be the Pats offensive coordinator. If not him, then who? It's a good question. I don't know what route the Patriots are going to go. We don't have much info on, Gerard Mayo. I kind of hope that they don't, because then it's the same team. It's just no more Bill and it's Gerard Mayo as the head coach. I don't know if that's really going to be enough for that team. I think you need some real change, going away from Belichick in the future. I kind of wonder if the reason why Bill didn't get the Falcons job is he wanted to get the gang back together with McDaniels. And maybe McDaniels just needs a nice year off to retool a little bit. Maybe that makes the most sense for all sides involved.